Before we get into this video, I want to let you guys know that if you have a story, fanfiction, novel, script, any kind of creative writing piece that you're working on at the moment, you can get personal, in-depth feedback from myself through my new Fiverr service starting at just $5. I've been telling stories for a long time. I also have a bachelor's university degree in creative writing, so if you want good quality feedback, I'm your guy. Either way, back to the video. We open this episode with Peter triumphantly swinging through the city, shouting out how much he loves this new suit. We get a short montage of Peter fighting some crime and saving some people. We then cut to the present. There's a burning building and none other than Spider-Man in his brand new black suit is there on the scene. The firefighters can't contain it and Spider-Man jumps into action. We cut to a civilian inside the building. The flames creep up towards them as heat radiates onto their face. They cower in fear as they step further and further away from the flames towards a window. They carry on backing up until they nudge against the ledge. The fire and flames are quickly spreading. The firefighters look up with no answers. They don't have enough time to catch up. Spider-Man arrives into the corridor after saving everyone else from the building. He shouts to the man, saying, "Hang on!" But as Peter tries to approach him through the flames, the suit cries out. It screeches and shouts, causing a horrific sound to echo through the hall. However, during this time, the fire waits for no one, as it reaches to the tip of the man's foot. The man, scared, trips out of the window ledge and falls backwards out of the building, sure enough to splatter on the pavement. Peter's spider sense is going nuts. Peter shouts at the top of his lungs as his arm reaches out towards the man, but he knows he can't make it. The situation so eerily similar to what Peter had previously experienced. As Peter closed his eyes, thinking he'd failed, he opened them again to a black web protruding from his wrist. He looked up. The man was hanging from the building as the crowd below cheered on. He was safe. Peter saved him. Rather, the suit saved him. The symbiote lowered the man to the ground floor, and Peter breathes a sigh of relief. We will then cut to a scene between Harry and MJ. During the scene, the TV will be on in the background of a news report saying that Alistair Smythe has been found dead in a back alley. As the audience, this may come as a subtle surprise to us, but it best represents the power and ferocity of Tyler Stone, who is the obvious perpetrator. And the fact that it's played off as just something in the background will just show the level of Tyler Stone's power. This is something irrelevant to us, the audience, and the entire story, but it's also something that could be so easily done, so easily missed. Tyler Stone is powerful, and Alistair Smythe was merely another one of his pawns. This will be something to keep in mind for future episodes. However, MJ will come over to Harry's apartment and will ask if Peter's okay, and Harry will chuckle it off, saying Peter hasn't spoke to him in a few days, kinda how he usually does nowadays. MJ will say that she understands, but she's been thinking, maybe everything that happened with Indy really has taken a toll on him. Harry says probably has, but they've tried to be there for him and he hasn't reciprocated. Harry will turn to MJ and say, "Listen, I love Peter, he's my best friend, but until he decides to open up and apologize for being a jerk, I can't do any more for him." Harry will go on to say that he hopes he hasn't changed either, because if he has, then their friendship will be truly over. MJ will agree. And this is when we learn that ESU is also holding a college ball coming up in a few weeks. MJ will say that she's wanted to go with Peter, but she's not holding on to that anymore. She will ask Harry if they want to go as friends. Harry will tell MJ that he was going to invite Felicia, the new girl that he's been seeing, but since she asked first, he'll gladly accept. MJ will go on to ask how things have been going between him and Felicia, in which Harry will say good. He's never saw a girl for this long, so maybe she might be special. MJ will say she hopes so. We cut over to Peter, who is making his way to work at Alchemax. During this time, we will get narration over the top of him trying to make sense of what this suit is. He's only had it for a few days, but whatever it is, it's great. It's doing absolute wonders for him. He'll think to himself that this suit could have saved Indy. Maybe this is what he needed all along. Maybe this suit was the answer. He will enter Alchemax, and Eddie will be furious. Peter will ask what's wrong, and Eddie will say that the symbiote is missing. Peter will be surprised at first, until it clicks. He realizes, wait, that suit, it didn't just come from nowhere. It's the symbiote. He should have realized this earlier, but now it makes sense. The smashed glass, him coming into Alchemax, the suit going missing. This realization takes Peter back. Eddie says when he finds whoever stole it, he's going to kill them. This is when Peter realizes what he's done. The symbiote was Eddie's cure. But this is where we start to see the first signs of Peter's arrogance set through. The symbiote feeding off his insecurities as well. As we've demonstrated throughout almost every episode in the season so far, Peter is constantly on edge and having flashbacks to Indy's death, afraid that it might happen to someone close to him again. However, now with the symbiote, Peter's fears are being countered by the suit, which is feeding off his insecurities, so he keeps it to form a deeper bond between the two. We have to remember, as we made it clear in the last episode, the symbiote wants a bond. It is a symbiote after all. It wants to form a symbiotic relationship with a host, and to do that, it also has to fill the fears and the insecurities of its host, so the host will keep it. So the host feels a need to have the symbiote, which is exactly what the symbiote is doing to Peter in this instant. Peter will think to himself that he probably should give it back, but would the world be a better place with or without black-suited Spider-Man? With, he'll think. No one has to know. Plus, it's not like Eddie knows he's Spider-Man, he'll think to himself. Peter tries to reassure himself and give himself a reason as to why he shouldn't give him the suit back. Peter, in a cocky fashion, will tap Eddie's shoulder and say it couldn't have gotten far. Eddie will snap back saying, "This is serious." This is when there will be another call for help around the city with a fire breakout. Peter will get an alert on his phone and will say he has to go. Eddie will frown as he leaves. The suit will engulf Peter as he swings through the city towards the fire. The fire will be breaking out around this building when Peter sees some guys get away in a car down the street. Peter will think maybe this was them. Spider-Man jumps over to the firefighters and asks if they have the civilians handled. They'll say they do, and give Spider-Man the go-ahead to catch the people rushing off in the car. We cut to the people in the car, and it's a bunch of teenagers cackling with laughter. One of them more deranged than the others, and will have red hair, and will call himself Cletus. This is when Spider-Man jumps on top of the car. The boys will stop laughing, but Cletus' smile grows. He will unveil a flamethrower and will point it to the top of the car, spraying it at Spider-Man. The symbiote once again screams out in pain as Spider-Man drops away from the car. Peter will think, this thing really doesn't like fire. Peter webs the back of the car and jumps back towards it. This time, Peter makes sure he webs the tire, taking the car out as it hurtles towards a building and crashes. The boys are taken out of the car by Spider-Man, slamming on the side of the road. The first two teenagers are scared, asking Spider-Man not to hurt them, as he aggressively detains them. The third one, however, Cletus, laughs as Spider-Man webs him down for the cops. Spider-Man asks if it was them that caused the fire the other day, and Cletus could only laugh in his face. Spider-Man will angrily say what they did wasn't funny, and could have gotten a lot of people killed. Cletus carries on with a smile on his face, while the other two boys say it was Cletus' idea. They didn't know what they were getting into, and they didn't know it would be so catastrophic. Cletus took it too far. Spider-Man grabs Cletus by the collar and holds him up in the air, furious, when the cops arrive on the scene. Cletus tells Spider-Man to do it, hurt him, kill him even, prove to the world that he's a murderer, confirm what they already know. Peter lets him down with a thud and webs away as Cletus and the other two are taken away by the police. We cut to Peter looking over the city, thinking it's much safer now that he has the suit. He feels bad for Eddie, but it's him or the city, and Peter's going to pick what's right every time. After all, with great power comes great responsibility, right? That's what he's learned and kept reassuring himself of all the times he's wanted to quit being Spider-Man. He's keeping the suit because it's the right thing to do. It's the right move, right? And for once, he actually loves being Spider-Man. This suit gives him the thrill, the security. It makes him feel good. And as Peter smirks as he looks down at the mask, we end our episode right there. Thank you for watching episode 7 of MTV Spider-Man Season 2. If you did enjoy this, make sure to like on it and also make sure to subscribe. On the left-hand side of the screen, you can see my first part in a Spider-Man cinematic universe. And on the right-hand side of the screen, you can see my rewrite for Spider-Man 3. With that said, thank you guys for watching. I'll catch you guys in the next video. Take care and keep telling stories.